everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video guys, I wanted to talk about these two new hairstyles that just released into the game for Royale High. But before we get into today's video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share notifications during this video, because we are less than 200 subscribers away from hitting 5,000 on YouTube, and it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe and help me out. Now let's get into today's video. So guys, if you hadn't noticed, there are two new hairstyles that just dropped for Royale High, and I'm gonna open my customizer right now. But basically, as you guys can see, there's these two new hairstyles, and right off the bat you can notice that they look oddly similar. This flower girl hairstyle looks like the flower queen hairstyle. The only difference is that one is longer than the other. And if we scroll down, we can kind of see that there is a different version of this hairstyle somewhere in this catalog. So we're gonna just scroll down until we see it, because there are a lot of hairs in this game. And right off the bat, here you see it's right here. Here's another version of this hairstyle that looks exactly like the ones up here. And I find that very weird that the developers would just make two new hairstyles and then say new hairstyles drop every 13 days. You know, like, I feel like, I'm not saying it's lazy, but at the same time, I feel like these hairstyles look exactly the same. There's like 3 different versions of the same hairstyle. So it has me thinking, what is Royale High planning? Because why would they just say new hairstyles dropping every single week if the hairstyles aren't new? So I'm kind of like confused, just as everyone else is, because like, I don't think it would be smart to say that these hairstyles are new, especially if there's now 3 versions of the same hairstyle in the game. As you guys can see, the hairstyles are sort of repeating itself after a while. Like, we have 2 versions of the high-rise buns, we have 2 versions of this hairstyle, we have several like half up, half down hairstyles, we have 2 of these, duplicates of this, and 2 of these. And there's nothing wrong with having long and, you know, short hairstyles, but as you guys can see, these hairstyles are starting to become very repetitive. This hairstyle looks a little bit like this one, and this one looks a little bit like that one. Over here we have these 2 right here that look almost exactly the same. The only difference is the positioning and the height of the what do you call these? I'm sorry. The positioning of the pigtails and the braids over here. But the only difference between these is that these are twists and these are braids. Same thing with these as well. Like, these hairstyles are kind of becoming repetitive. You guys can see these here too. And then these here, the only difference is the texture. Over here, these hairstyles are repeating. So we're seeing a lot of like repeating of hairstyles. As you guys can see, the only difference is the height for some of these. Like, we have the boho half up, half down. We have the boho half braided. And then if we go up here, the cottage maiden looks almost the same as it. So it's like, why are these hairs being recycled? And if we keep going down, I don't think there's any more that like really repeat, but it's like this hairstyle, the pop star ponytail, just looks like these put together. This looks exactly like that one, and these 2 are just 2 different hairstyles. And these almost look the same as well. So that's the other thing that I'm confused about. You know, like, I didn't notice how these were all repeating before, especially these 2. These do look the same as well. So it's kind of shocking, because like, look, you have these 2 hairstyles that almost look exactly the same. The only difference is the bangs. And I'm honestly shocked that we didn't notice this before, because it's like, how are we having multiple hairs repeating over and over? All of these hairs look almost exactly the same. The only difference is that some are longer and some are shorter. So it's like, at this point, is Royale High really making new hairstyles, or are they just recycling old ones? We see that, you know, these look almost the same, but they're not exactly the same. These look almost the same. Like, this has been going on for a while. I just don't think we noticed it. Lust for Life looks exactly like, before I go back up, these two look exactly the same. You know, like, I don't really see the difference in some of these. I don't see the difference between these two. The only difference is this is in a ponytail and this is out, which I'm not complaining. I like this one better than this one. But, you know, some of these hairstyles are extremely repetitive. These two as well, extremely repetitive. But if we go like all the way back up, you see Lust for Life looks exactly like Flower Queen and Flower Gal. So it's like, what's the difference between these Royale High hairstyles, and why are the developers reusing them? And I'm not saying that, like, you know, like, what if they were really dealing with the problem and they couldn't make new hairstyles this week, so they just decided to recycle them? Or they could have forgotten and decided to do it last minute. We really don't know. And I'm not gonna, like, you know, get really mad at this, because there's more that we have to worry about than just Royale High hairstyles. So I'm honestly not gonna hold them on this. But something I really want to figure out is just like what are we gonna do about, you know, some of the other hairstyles that look exactly the same in the game? Like, are we gonna get new ones, or are we just gonna see repeats of the same thing? But anyway, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing, guys, is this is not completely bad. I know people are gonna be like, well, they look exactly the same. They do look exactly the same. But the thing is that, you guys, you see how the height difference between this one and then Lust for Life? What if this is like preview of like the scaling system that's going to come to the game? Because if you guys remember, Royale High, we've been asking Royale High for a long time to add a scaling system to their game. So what if in the future we're going to see that, but in Royale High? What if we'll be able to make hair longer and, you know, toggle it to be either longer or shorter? That's what I'm wondering, because like, why would you make three versions of the same hair with the same exact accessories on it? It's kind of weird, for starters, because like, they're the same exact, well, not the same exact, but they're almost the same exact flowers, and then you have these flowers that look almost like it. The only difference is the petals. So it's like, and they were made by the same person as well, so it doesn't really look like much was put into it. But guys, before you all get like angry, think about it. If this isn't such a bad thing, because what if this is the future of the scaling system? I am not a developer, but these are just like my hypothesis. These are something that I noticed, because why would they make 3 different versions of a hairstyle? Unless they were really lazy, which I'm not gonna say. But, you know, it just seems weird, especially since, you know, this one is like the longest out of the 3 versions we have. And then we have the shorter one that's like further down. So it's like, why would they be repeating all of these hairstyles if there wasn't going to be a scaling system in the future? Like, you see how these look almost exactly the same, the only difference is the height? What if there is a scaling system that's going to be coming to the game soon and we don't know? So that's all I basically wanted to say for today's video. If you found this video like interesting or helpful, be sure to subscribe and be sure to check out my new YouTube shorts that I have in my shorts tab. And I think that's it. I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place for today's video. I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you all so much for like checking in on me and stuff like that. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye everyone!